Hey traders, it's Greg from Trade90X, and welcome to another Trade90X Get Trade Fit 90 Days trade lesson. And today's lesson, it's more about our strategy. Trade90X Earn the Right to Trade Live strategy. This came actually about, the community. And if you watch my pre-market or weekend or even post-market, I talk about the Earn the Right to Trade Live strategy every single day, every weekend. Why? Because it's our go-to strategy. And again, it came from you guys in the community asking for a simplified process to check, and review whether you have 1, 5, 10, or 15 symbols. Again, we always recommend being more of a specialist, trading the same symbols over and over, but this strategy will work with any asset class. It doesn't matter. And again, you'll learn that today. So again, we listened, and it's all about you guys, and it's about helping, you make money. Because bottom line is, if you can't make money, stop wasting time. Okay, well, I want to get right to it. I want to help you guys make money. I want to filter out the noise, and it's all about making money. Now, again, I always tell people, stop wasting time on fancy indicators, complex strategies. Learn to focus on making money. Keep it simple, and that's where the Earn the Right to Trade Live strategy comes in. And let's go through it. So before we get into the charts, let me just put up here, and I'll just leave that up there. There we go. Makes a good background. So while I'm filming this, this is actually the 25th, this lesson of April, and we can see today, just as I'm doing it in the background, that all the indices started bearish, and now they're still bearish, and they're starting to make their way up. All right, so bottom line is the tools you'll need. Again, I always say you need education, you need the willingness to do what others won't, being humble, learn every day. You're going to need a charting platform. We use TradingView, and I have no affiliations. It's just these are the ones that I like. Brokerage, again, I use what used to be Thinkorswim, is now owned by Schwab. I use Tastyworks or Interactive Brokers for my active trading. Okay, that's for my swing, day, or scalp trading, which we will use. We trade futures or options. That's our preferred choice. You'll also need, I recommend getting a fast computer, whether it's a PC or laptop. Make sure you have fast internet. And I also recommend every day having a quiet space to trade, no distractions. And I call that kind of the right mindset. Because if you're not focused and you have a lot of distractions, it's just not going to go well. So just take my advice on that. Make sure when the days you're going to trade, you have no distractions. Okay, good. All right, next, what type of trading, what type of trader am I? Let's fix that. And again, a lot of times what I see is a lot of strategies people try to one size fits all, and it's not. Again, you have to, and again, when you're part of the Earn the Right to Trade Live strategy, or our community, the Trade90X community, we'll break that down to find out what's best for you. Number one, like I said, do you have a job? Do you work part-time? Do you have the ability to make fast decisions, or do you prefer things slower? Again, if you if you have 3-4 hours every day, again, you've got a minimum of at least, and again, people always ask me how much you need. I always say 5 to 10 grand. 5 grand. The reason I say 5 grand is because with futures, you can trade muni futures. With options, I always recommend at least 10,000, and I'll explain in a minute why. But it has to do with numbers. But again, what type of trader am I is going to depend on, again, your time, your resources, and your personality. If you have the ability to make fast decisions, and you don't get stressed very easily, and you're used to high pressure, then scalping and day trading, no problem. But if you're somebody who gets flustered, you can't make fast decisions, then I recommend swing trading. And again, it'll also based on, like I said, if you have a job or part-time, it's going to be tough to trade if you have a full-time job, day or scalp trading. So again, these are the things we break down when you're part of our community. Right off the beginning, we kind of assess, again, what type of person you are and what's going to work best. Because last thing I want you to do is trade something that you're not comfortable. All right. So this is very underrated. I don't know why more people, when they talk about, their strategies or what they offer, I don't see anybody talking about that. The strategy, again, if it's not easy to understand, replicable, repeatable, and it doesn't give you a statistical edge over a body of work. What I mean is that you've back tested, replayed it 50, 100, 200 trades, and over those body of work, with confidence that you have a statistical edge. So regardless, you feel comfortable. Now you know your numbers and you have the ability to scale that up. Okay, if you don't have that, then do not trade. It will end badly. Sorry to be so blunt, but again, I want to see everyone make money. But if you're not going to do it right, then don't do it at all. Again, like we just went over that. What type of trader am I? Again, back testing, and let's put replay. So back testing and replay, again, I always, this differentiating opinions on this. I look at it this way. You have to learn the rules of engagement. You have to get the chart time in. Now, again, I don't want anybody spending too much time on back tests. I want to get you right to live trading ASAP, because you can't, you can never have that emotion truly in your back testing. But again, what back testing and replay is doing is it's making sure, number one, you understand the rules of engagement, you understand trading, you understand the charting, you understand the brokerage, you understand your strategy, and you're proving it over time that you can be successful. And then once you make the switch, again, from, that demo replay account, we start everyone off slowly. I don't care how much money you have, and you start crawling before you walk in. But again, it's just prudent to back test and replay. Again, I want this thing to become second nature, because the only true way to really curb your emotions, and I see people writing all these great stuff. Listen, again, this is just me, and everyone can have a different thought. The only way to curb emotions is to do. When you've put in the repetition and by the back of your hand with comfort that you know exactly what you're doing, that's how your emotions are going to be curbed. Okay, not reading and doing all this other stuff. No, and doing exercise. No, what's going to make it is do the charts, master the strategy, prove that it has an edge over time. And when you've put in enough work and it becomes second nature, that's when you truly feel comfortable. And again, when you know your numbers, makes all the difference. So like I said, that's just my opinion versus other people. I don't get caught up in reading all this philosophy and all this other stuff. Hey, you either do or you don't. Okay, now know your numbers. So we're talking about active trading here. Okay, active trading, swing, day, scalp. We do not risk more right here. Day, scalp, and swing right here. I'll just leave that. We do not risk more than 0.5% to 2% of capital per trade. We do not risk more than 3 to 5% of our capital per session. We focus on a risk reward minimum of 2 to 1. We do not go lower to target 1. We have defined profit and loss goals within the 3 to 5% of our capital, 3 to 5% of our capital per session. Now, why do I do this? Listen, I've been somebody who's been building companies, trading, doing this for, again, for 20 years. And I will tell you that if you don't know your numbers in business, you are going to fail. The only way to truly know your numbers is put in the work, build that statistical edge, and there's only one way that you'll be able to ramp a business up, whether it's trading or anything else, is know your numbers. Anybody who does not know the numbers, or any plan that does not focus on numbers right away, run. Okay? I'm just telling you right now, I see so many people and I ask them, what their numbers, and they look at me dumbfounded. Again, how can you risk capital if you do not know your numbers? So I implore you, you need to learn your numbers. And again, these are the numbers that we use for swing, day, or scalp trading. And again, it's capital preservation. Okay. And I see way too many people risking, 5, 10, 15, 20% per trade. And I can tell you right now, I don't care how good of a trader you are. Anybody can lose 5+ trades in a row. So if you're risking, just think about it. If you're risking 5, 10, 15, 20%, you're down 25, 50, 75, 100% blown out your account. And I promise you, if you blow out your account, most people are like, this doesn't work, and they quit. All right, next, routines. Now, routines are a very important part of, again, everything for me is methodical. I'm a stickler for process. And why? Because it works. Now, every day we're in the East Coast. Okay, so we're typically trading. Now, our pre-market is between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. EST. Live market is typically the times that we like to trade are 8 to 12 p.m. EST. And then post-market is journal when we finish. So your pre-market is where we build our plan. This is where we build our edge. This is done usually between 7 and 8. Live market is where we execute between 8 and 12. Now, if you find when you're part of the Earn the Right to Trade Live strategy process and you find that the afternoon works better for you and you've back tested, hey, you know what? Be my guest. Not a problem. You know, we're going to do what works for you. Now, post-market, this, 8 to 12 works for us. And why? Because number one, this is when we have the most volume and volatility. It's when you have the European session and the New York session kind of crossing. And then post-market, again, it's typically when we're done trading, whenever that is, and we don't ever pass this. Journaling and reviewing is critical to your success in trading. Again, this is all part of the Earn the Right to Trade Live process. All right, information you need to focus on. So markets contest. Again, if you've been watching me in my mornings or weekends, I'm very, very simple. Again, all I want to know every day is my strategy back tested. Do I know my numbers? And next, do I understand the market context? And I'm going to show you on the chart and data in a minute, is the main trend versus short-term trend. Are we bullish, bearish, range, or no edge chop? That's all I care about. Next, do I understand what a high probability A setup is within a bullish, bearish range context looks like? Yes or no? Do you know when to sit on hands on choppy no edge price action? Yes or no? Again, that's all I care, whether I'm trading a 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 60 minute, weekly, whether I'm trading crypto, Apple, S&P, it doesn't matter. If you don't know what bullish bearish ranges look like or no edge chop looks like, you're not going to succeed. If you don't know what an A setup it looks like within a bullish bearish range context looks like, you're going to fail. Okay. And then also we have a set of tools, again, that we use that help to give us an edge. And I'm going to show you those in a minute. And again, we have very specific bullish bearish range setups using our tools that are part of the Earn the Right to Trade Live strategy. Okay. All right. Next, odds enhancers that we like to use are time of day. Again, as I mentioned, we like to trade between 8 and 12. Our pre-market is between 7 and 8. And again, because of momentum, and the volatility. Now, also momentum. I'm going to show you in the charts again what momentum looks like. But if we don't have momentum, I'm not interested. And then candles, again, I'll show you the candles that we use. But I only use candles when I have momentum and then I'm trading off some key levels. All right, so I'll show you that. Now, some of the tools that we use the previous day's range, which I'll go to the chart, the open, the previous day's close, the weekly, monthly, yearly, high, low, close. And then I'm also going to show you decision points from the monthly, weekly time frame. All right. I also want to pay attention how the monthly, weekly, and daily candles close. We do not trade into news and earnings. That's us. We let the news and earnings come out, and our goal is hopefully price has moved quickly to one of our A setups within a bullish, bearish, or range context. Okay. We must stay patient and wait for master our A setups within a bullish, bearish range context. And then can you stay patient when price has no edge top? That means no trading. Can you stick to your plan that has a proven edge? And this is what we do in the Earn the Right to Trade Live process. No shortcuts, Follow your routines. You must journal and review. And again, I recommend being a specialist. That means trading the same symbols over and over. And also, don't be shy. You got to ask questions and learn every day. Next, I'm going to show you what the horse race view. That is basically a chart with 4 to 8 symbols that we trade over and over every day. And what I do is that helps me focus on which one of the symbols has the best and highest probability a setup. And the symbols that we like to trade over and over, S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, oil, euro, and maybe a little Apple. And, again, maybe Apple, maybe I'll add something else to it, but these are the ones typically. And then journal and review. And the journal and review process is for us to understand exactly, snapshot every trade, detail the trade. What did I do well? What do I need work on? How did I manage a trade? What type of day was it? How was my confidence level? And then again, and if you've watched our masterclass on, Journal Like a Pro, again, we file every trade by year, month, and I usually you can use Google, your files, or a Dropbox. And again, I have a box, I have a by year, month, and then within that month, I have the symbol, and then they have the date, and I list what type of day is it. Was it a bullish day, bearish day, range day, or a multi-trend day? Because this way, when I go back and review, if I want to go look at bullish trades, I look at bullish trades. If I want to look at bearish trades, I pull up all the bearish trades, range trades, and of course, multi-trend days. Are we clear? All right, good. And by the way, you'll get this with the video, so don't worry about it. So let's go in and let's start breaking down. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the routines. And this is kind of what I do every morning. So the first thing we do when we come in every morning, we look at the news. So like today, we had GDP, and we had important news this morning. We didn't trade into it, okay? We look at the earnings, regardless if you trade stocks or not. Remember, the personality of the markets change if you have important news or earnings. And we have important earnings this week, so very important. And again, everything I do is free. I give you the $1 million stuff, whether it's a lesson every morning. I don't hold back. I give you our strategies, I give you our numbers, I give you the steps. And again, and the reason I'm willing to do that is because I know without the support and accountability of the community, it's very difficult to advance. Okay. And I know just from experience, having that support is everything. Next, fear and greed index. And again, these are all, I go through this every morning, every weekend in our routines. This is our pre-market stuff. And again, these are the things that for me, again, help us quickly understand, are we bullish, bearish range, or we can't figure it out. Right now, this morning when we went in, again, we were showing we had sentiment was weak. This morning before the market, we go to stocks, market momentum. And what I'm looking at here in part of our Earn the Right to Trade live process in our pre-market routine, we can see that all the stocks in the market based on the 50-day moving average have been bearish momentum short term. Next, FinViz. Again, I love this chart, but I'm going to look at the group tab. And what I'm looking at here in the Earn the Right to Trade live process in our pre-market routine every morning, we know that the main trend is still bullish, but the short-term trend this morning has been, bearish and then bullish. So there's a lot of indecision. Okay, when I see a lot of indecision in the short term, I'm more focused on our day and scalp strategies. In order really to have comfort in our swing trades, I want to see the 1 month, 1 week, especially, and the daily all green if I'm bullish, or bearish, if I'm going to be that. And if there's indecision, then I'm going to day and scalp. All right, next, tradingster.com. This comes out every Friday. And again, I do this every morning. And the reason I do it is because very important. This comes out Friday. This site does a great job for free, but what it does for us is it tells us what's going on in the commitment or trade report. And these are the symbols. Again, I focus in the morning on the indices, in the S&P, which is 75% of the market. And again, what I'm looking for here is your commitment or trader report. It's the smart money. It's the banks, the institutions. They control 85% of the order flow in any symbol. And I don't care what anybody tells you on YouTube or on CNBC. Learn, I give you the $1 million stuff. I give you the information so you can make educated decisions. Look, right here, the long term still has 82% versus 17% short. So again, this is not going to tell you day to day. Remember, this only comes out each week, but it's telling you that buyers are still biased to the bullish side in the big time frames. Okay. Next, stockcharts.com. And what I love about stockcharts.com, number one, not only can I, with a click of a button, show you the main trend versus the short-term trend, but these are the symbols not only are these symbols I think make up the market context the best, but these are symbols that we trade: the Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, NYA, Russell. Again, and then our odds enhancers, the VIX, 10-year, and the dollar. And again, as I talk about every day, your job is to understand whether or not we have a bullish, bearish range market. Now, bullish is lower left to upper right. Bearish is upper left to lower right. Ranges equal highs equal lows. Now, when we're looking at bullish and bearish momentum, I don't care if you're on a 1 minute, 5 minute, 15-minute, weekly, or monthly. The clearer those momentum legs are into pullback and pause, whether it's bullish or bearish, those pullback and pauses is where we look for our trades. And when you're part of the Earn the Right to Trade Live process, you're going to back test and replay that until it becomes second nature. Now, ranges, whether it's a 1 minute, 5 minute, weekly, monthly, it doesn't matter, are equal highs, equal lows. Okay. And with ranges, we box the range into thirds: bottom, middle, top. We don't want to trade the middle of a range. It's low probability. What I'm looking for is when we have obvious bullish rejection at the bottom of a range to go long, the obvious bearish rejection at the top of the range to short, until price can break out of the range back to bullish and bearish momentum. We're clear. So right now, what we're seeing, and what we saw this morning when I was doing my analysis, we're still moving lower left to upper right in the indices. Okay. So we still have a bullish bias. Now, when we go to the shorter term, and that's where we can find our scalps, our day trades, or swing trades, we can see that every one of our, in the short term, we're moving upper left to lower right. But now, yesterday, and especially today, look at it, we gapped down. Now it looks like we're coming back strong. So we'll see whether or not, again, we don't have enough decision yet on are we going to break higher, or are we going to break lower? But what it definitely tells us is the long term is still bullish. Short term, we had rejection here in all of the indices. Now, when we look at the VIX is now starting to come down, and I look more, the VIX is the most important to me because it's the volatility and sentiment. If the VIX is moving up with conviction bullishness, that's bearish for markets. If it's moving down, that's bearish. And if it's sideways, then there's indecision. Okay. Now, what we can see also is Apple is rejecting the bottom. But if you look at oil, gold, and the commodities ETF, they're moving lower left to upper right. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on this. We've got some indecision right now. But now that we understand, now we go to the chart. Let me go to the chart, and let me break down how we do it every morning. So again, this is all part of the Earn the Right to Trade Live, and then I'm going to show you the one chart view. So every morning, again, we come in, I start with the S&P, I start with the monthly chart. And again, I always match up the monthly chart with our, let me get to it, with our commitment of trader report. Okay. So again, our job, whether we're trading a 1 minute, monthly chart, it does not matter. And again, on the bigger time frames, what I have is I have this momentum band, and I like to start with line charts. So right here, you see this right here? When the momentum band is sloping up, that tells us we have bullish momentum. If it's moving very obvious to the downside, it's bearish momentum. And if it's sideways, we have sideways range price action. But the reason I like to look at line charts, and you can use this actually on any time frame, is I look for the clear momentum, the momentum into pullback and pause, bullish at or above, if bearish at or below. And then once I see that strong pullback at an above or at or below, I then turn back the candles. Now, I keep it real simple. Again, candles, again, at key levels, I'm looking at bullish engulfing and pin bars or dojis into the engulfing in pin bars. And again, this would be an engulfing candle. Okay. So if you're going to trade whatever time frame it is, this is a great way to look at it. Okay. So right now we're moving lower left to upper right. Remember, bullish is lower left to upper right, bearish is upper left to right, range is equal highs, equal lows. You need to master that. And then you need to master what the setups are. Okay. Now, this is swing trading, so I have another class on swing trade, but my earn the right to trade live process, I'm always doing a top-down analysis. Let's go to the weekly. Okay. Line chart. And there we go. And we're moving lower left to upper right. We now have a pullback. But again, we look for, on any chart, I look for where the obvious momentum into pullback and pauses are. Put the candles on. Now, this one didn't close above the band, and the band, again, is our short-term momentum band, and again, I need to see at or above or at or below, no matter what time frame. So these were the last two trades, and right now we have a momentum leg, so we don't know yet, and this is why I'm showing it to you, because you don't know yet whether we're going to go back to bullish momentum, higher high, higher low, momentum into pullback or pause, or momentum, pullback, and then we start doing this. We don't know yet, but we'll find out soon enough. But again, you have to stay patient and wait for the setups. And then now here's your daily chart right here. Go to the same thing. And we can see lower left, upper right. But here, we're now doing upper left to lower right. And here was your last setup on the daily. You had a bearish engulfing candle. Okay. And again, I keep it very simple. I love those momentum into pullback and pauses, momentum into pullback and pause. Now the band's coming down. So now we don't know yet if we're going to start doing this or we're going to start doing this. And again, when you're not sure, why are you trading it? Okay, so now I showed you the top down. Okay, I just wanted to show you that. Now we'll get to the earn the right to trade live process, which happens to only include one chart. And I usually, when I start in the morning, I'll usually have my 30-minute chart on. So let me give you, maybe I would take these off right here. Hold on. So let me give you now the tools. So any good strategy, and this is the earn the right to trade live strategy. It's a one chart strategy. And again, any good strategy for me, it better have, number one, a set of tools that are predictive, not lagging. These tools that you see that were used, they're all here before we come in. They're not after the fact. Okay. Any good strategy better have very precise setups, bullish momentum, bearish momentum, or range setups. Number three, you better have your numbers, which I've already given to you. Number four, there better be an easy step process to then implement the trade. So let's go through it. So I'll go through a few symbols here. So let me tell you what the tools are first. The tools are the following. And again, what I need to do is I want to program all this. So if anybody knows how to program into trading, if you hit me up at hello@trade90x.com. And the reason why is because I'd like to take all the tools and just put it into one and just have it called the Trade90X earn the right to trade live tool. All right, so here are the tools right here. And these, most platforms should have it, but I used a yearly high low in gray. I used a monthly high low in orange. I used the weekly high low in purple. And then I have the previous day's range in black, and it's actually being covered here by the weekly. There's also the open right here, this aqua, and then the previous day's close. And then I have that, same momentum band I showed you. And again, the momentum band is just, it's an odds enhancer. I told you, if I'm taking bullish trades, I want to see clear momentum in that band. momentum into pullback and pause. If I'm bearish, I want to see the momentum band down, momentum into pullback and pause. And then, of course, it'll be sideways if you see it in a range. All right, so now that you know the tools, and one other tool that let me just get that. You'll see it. You see this yellow line? This is where the week starts. All right. So now that we know the tools that are predictive, not lagging, they can be used as entry, stop, and targets. And the best part is they visually, once you understand this, and I'm going to go through it, you'll be a pro already. It tells you, are we bullish, bearish, or a range, or no edge price action? All right. So now you know the tools. You know the numbers. I gave them to you. We don't risk more than 0.5 to 2% of our capital per trade. We do not risk more than 3 to 5% of our capital in any one session. We focus on a minimum of 2-to-1 risk reward. Okay. And we have defined profit and loss targets within the 3 to 5% of our capital. That means that win, lose, or draw, if we hit the win first or lose, we shut down and go to the review process. And it's there for capital preservation. Are we clear? Good. All right. And as I mentioned, I have futures up. We trade futures, or I'll trade the ETF SPY. Okay. We do both. And again, in the Earn the Right to Trade Live, I'm going to show you, using futures, but in the Earn the Right to Trade Live process, you'll go in much more detail, about futures and options. Okay. We don't leave anything to chance. I promise you. But again, this is a free masterclass that I'm doing. So again, I'm giving you, I'm giving you the goods. Like I said, I'm giving you the strategy, giving you the setups, I'm giving you the numbers, giving you the steps. All right. So now you know the tools. Now let's go through the setups. So the setups are, we use the previous day's range as our short-term bias. So what I'm looking for is clear higher highs, higher lows, momentum into pullback and pause above the previous day's range, looking for bullish continuation trades. Below the range, the previous day's range low, if I'm getting clear lower highs, lower lows, I'm looking for clear momentum bearish trades. As you can see today, we didn't get that. What we got, we didn't get this. What we got was this. We got momentum down and then now back up. Okay. So I'll explain what that is in a second. So again, we have bullish and bearish momentum using the tools. And again, when you go through the Earn the Right to Trade Live process, you're going to go through hundreds and hundreds of charts. You're going to be replaying, back testing. This is going to become second nature. You're going to master what bullish momentum trades are, bearish momentum trades, range trades, and no edge price action. All right. So now you know the bullish and bearish momentum trades using the tools. Let me show you what no edge price action is first. You see this sideways, choppy, no edge price action? This is where you box the area and you don't do anything and you wait patiently. You wait patiently until price gives you obvious, okay, gives you obvious A setups, bullish momentum, bearish momentum, which I just showed you. Now I'm going to show you the range trades. So range trades, what I'm looking for in a range, I'm always looking for, so if we would have done this, strong momentum, bearish rejection near the top third, and I'm looking, let me just put in the middle. I don't know why I don't have that. Let me just put that in. I'm putting in the midpoint. There we go. So what I'm looking for is in a range. Remember, bottom, middle, top, the ranges. I want to fade the top third, bottom third, fake out breakouts as we're going to call them. I'm going to show them to you now. So the top third, I'm looking for that bearish rejection back to the middle or bottom. But again, I want obvious momentum into rejection at the bottom. If we did this today and we had bullish rejection, I'm looking at the middle and top. Now, one of some other odds enhancers also, the wider the range, the more opportunity to make money. The tighter the range, the more likely or potential we have to break above or below. All right, so you just got to keep an eye. That's why I love this process. It really gives you such an edge on what is going on. Now, here are the fake out breakouts. Again, I want to see strong momentum. It looks like the buyers have it, not so quick. You wait for the reverse to come back in, and then I'm fading back to the middle or bottom. And same thing here. So right now, you see this right here? this could be a fake out breakout. We came back down. Now, if we reject at the previous day's range low, then we definitely could have an opportunity for what I call a fake out breakout. And I'm going to go through a bunch of symbols. So by the time I'm done with this lesson, you're going to get this. So now, so step number one was go to the weekly. I'm going to show it to you. Now that you know the setups, the tools, now let me show you the steps. So step number one in the earn the right to trade live process is always we start with the weekly chart. Why do I do that? I do that so I can kind of see what's going on in the main trend. We are still moving lower left to upper right, lower left to upper right. Then I take the horizontal line right here, horizontal line in red, and I call these decision points. All decision points are the monthly and weekly chart only, okay? And what I'm looking for is where were the last areas where we had red and, you'll see a red and green candle where price paused and took off right here, here, and then just right here. And what we do is I put lines in their decision points, and these become very important areas for us, and I color code them red so I know their decision points. So we clear. So right now the ES is moving lower left to upper right. We have these decision points. Step number two, I will go anywhere from a 15-minute to 60-minute. And what I'm doing in step number two, you can see we have our decision points. I want to see what price has been doing over the last, we were bullish. Now, these last few weeks, we've been moving upper left to lower right. And then when we zoom in, we can see this week, the bulls have been trying to move from lower left to upper right. All right. So now we use the previous day's range. Now, previous day's range is the high black, low black. It is the midpoint red. We've got the previous day's close in aqua. And then again, if we have a weekly, month, or yearly close by or on top of the previous day's high, what I will do is I'll take this ray line in blue and start from the beginning of the week. And I will just put these in. So, it's just something I like to do. And then I can see I have my decision points. I've got these, other short-term areas that are important. All right, so now I'm in step number two, and I ask the questions, am I above the previous day's range for bullish momentum? No. Am I inside the range? Well, we started inside the range, we broke, and now we're kind of, we're right back here at the previous day's range low. We tried to come back in, but there's not enough information. All right, so now step three, I like to use between a 1 and 10 minute. I happen to like a 3-minute. Now, remember, today, we usually come in at 8 o'clock. Remember, we're trading between 8 and 12, but we're doing our pre-market usually between 7 and 8. And then whenever there's key news, we had 8:30 today, I'll always have the line there just to let me know, or I'll set an alert because we do not trade into news and earnings here at Trade90X, okay, in the earn the right to trade live process. So now, when we came in this morning, we asked the questions. Are we above the previous day's range high? No, we're not. Were we below? Well, we've been going back and forth, but we're in the bottom third and what we call no edge price action. This is where you basically blow up your account. There's just no momentum, no movement. So what we do is we box that area and we do nothing until we see obvious bullish, bearish momentum or range setups, top third, bottom third, fake out breakouts. Okay. So today we had the news come out. Okay. Now remember, markets opened here on the indices at 9:30. So I have lines usually there and there. Okay. And we had the news drop down. And this would have been your first setup after the news. You let the news settle, and we got the momentum into pullback and pause below the moving band. And to me, that was a very nice setup this morning with a target. Now, let me show you I don't trade, by the way, big volatility. When you see a big volatility candle, that's usually news or something come out. I don't trade that. Okay. This, if you just stay patient here, look at that. You had momentum into pull back and pause. You had the band. Okay. Then we put the candle on. And you can leave the line chart art and wait for those momentum pullbacks. Now, this is how we do, and you'll learn more about this in the Earn the Right to Trade Live process, whether it's long or short. So short, once I identify the trend down, we're below the previous day's range, so we're now in bearish momentum. What I look for those momentum pullback and pauses, I look for my entry candles. If I'm bearish, I'm looking for shooting stars, engulfing, or dojis into the shooting star or engulfing. What I need to do is I want to be above the two candles right here. This is kind of the pivot. And then what I'm looking for, now I either need to be above these candles, or if I'm going to be super conservative, I will go above the key level. And this is something you'll back test and you'll know by the time you're done with the Earn the Right to Trade Live back testing and replay. I'm going to take this trade. We have strong momentum down. I'm going to be below both of these candles. And then right here, as soon as the trade is not activated, whether you're trading options or futures, until we break below. And then I'm looking at a minimum of 2 to 1. And this trade right here gave us that minimum. And then you can see, and then again, once you've really involved with the Earn the Right to Trade Live process, this is what we call an inverse head and shoulders. And this is a reversal pattern. And we can see that once we started right here, you can see the band making higher highs, higher lows. We made a move back down to we made a move back to that previous day's range low. All right. All right, we're going to go through a bunch of symbols. So right now, as I do this lesson, there's about an hour left in the Thursday session. Again, we're bearish, and then the bulls have tried to go back into the range, and now they're being pushed back down, and we're right here. So we're kind of in an indecision mode. We don't have, so if you were still trading right here, for me, this is what I would need to see. Again, clear momentum, lower high, lower low, or the band slopes up and we start moving back up, and we're in a range. I'm looking back to the middle and top. All right. So that's the Earn the Right to Trade Live process. I'm going to go through now a bunch of symbols. And so there is no question you understand it. So again, let's go through this again. So the Earn the Right to Trade Live process, again, we went through, let me just go. So I went through everything, tools you need, what a strategy should be, what type of trader am I, talking about the importance of backtest and replay. And again, I will have a new video up on backtesting and replay, so make sure you look out for that on Trade90X YouTube. Know your numbers, active trading, I give them to you right here. Also routines, pre-market, live market, post-market. I have another video coming out shortly. Look out on our Trade90X YouTube for that. Also, information that you need to know. Again, market context, main trend versus short term. Bottom line, all I care about, are we bullish, bearish, range, or no edge? Do I understand the high probability setups within a bullish, bearish range? Yes or no? Or do we have choppy, no edge price action? I sit on hands. The tools, I'm giving those to you right now. The setups I'm giving to you, the actual steps, I've gone through the numbers. The odds enhancers, I've explained it. I will go through the horse race thing in just a few minutes, and the journal and review process we talked about. So let's get back now and do a bunch more symbols. So the weekly, step number 1, again, I like going to the line chart. We can see we're moving lower left to upper right. Okay. And we can see right now we have some areas where price has paused and pushed away. And these are the two, for me, most recent ones that have not been touched yet right here. Step number 2, I go anywhere to a 15-minute or 60-minute chart, whatever you like best. You can see the decision points are in. All right. And now we can look at this and we see we're moving upper left to lower right. Okay, now we look at the tools, we zoom in, and we ask the questions. Are we above the previous day's high? No. Are we below? Well, we definitely did. Now we're back into the range. As I do this right now, we are back in the range. Okay. And this is what I would call, by the way, a multi-trend day, meaning that we started off, we were going below it, back in the range. We went back down. Now we're back in the range. Let's go to the 3 minutes so we can see more structure. And again, remember, I'm going to put a vertical line at 8:30 because there was news today. Now, remember, we're coming in between 7 and 8 doing our pre-market. And again, when we came in this morning, we were looking at this and just saying, again, this is just no edge crap. It's just, there's not enough momentum. So the news came out. And again, I always want to know where the 9:30 is. Now, I always recommend our newer traders, by the way, do not trade into the open. Let a half hour go by. I like to, wait till 10 o'clock, let things settle. If you're a seasoned trader in the earn the right to trade live process and you've proven consistency, you have the green light, except we don't trade into news and earnings, but the open is reserved really more for seasoned traders. Newer traders, we always have them wait about a half hour. It just seems to work a lot better for them. All right. Now, what happened here? Again, I do not trade big news candles. Same thing as the S&P. You had that same setup right here. You had the momentum pullback. You had the band coming down. And again, beautiful trade right there. You waited to the break. And what's nice about NASDAQ versus the S&P, you actually have a level here. You have the open, which gives you another added odds enhancer. And this trade gave you your 2-to-1, exactly. And then like the S&P, put in what we call an inverse head and shoulders, and then started to come back and move back. And then here we go. Now, again, we only trade till 12 typically. But again, if you're an afternoon trader, you got to break and retest right here. You went from bearish momentum back into a range trade, and now it's a range day. And there was the break and retest. You had two engulfings back to back. Targets either 2-to-1, middle, or top. When you're in the range, first target is always 2-to-1. If you're at the bottom, it's middle top. At the top, 2-to-1 or middle or bottom. And we play the range. Remember, we play ranges until we can break back to bullish bearish momentum. All right. So that was the NASDAQ. Let's go to the Russell. Remember, we're still live here in the session. So again, everything, the routine is the steps are always the same. Step number 1, go to that weekly chart. Number 2, where are those decision points? Now, price is still moving lower left to upper right, so we're still bullish. And then this was an area right here where price paused and took off, So we can see right now we have indecision on the weekly. Let's go to that 15-minute or 60-minute, whatever you like. Squeeze it up. Okay, we have the decision points. We know we've been moving upper left to low right to start the week. The bulls have tried to bounce. And then what's going on right now? All right, so the Dow's had a bigger move down than the S&P and NASDAQ. It has absolutely had a nice bearish momentum, and it has not come back as strong. All right, let's go to the 3 minutes so we see more structure. Put in that vertical line for 8:30 where the news was. And the same thing, we don't trade into news, but we see the Dow had been moving from a range into a bearish day, and this one gave you a setup right here. Momentum into pullback, pause, and down, and it gave you these two really nice smaller candles. Again, I'm going to put it above, since we don't have a level, I'm going to put it above all these candles, break below, and this one gave you 4-to-1. Again, I love smaller candles. Whenever you can get those engulfing or shooting star smaller candles, those give you such better risk reward, especially when you have the obvious trend at your back. And we had it today. So the Dow gave you a beautiful trade, and then look where it hit. Again, remember what I told you. When we're inside the range and we break out, I'm always looking for those weekly, monthly, yearly indecision points as key points. And look what happened. We hit the weekly, put a double bottom, and then right here, kind of a W pattern. And then we were on our way, higher high, higher low. And then we've kind of stalled out here. Okay. Let's go to the Russell. Okay, I'm going to do a few asset classes here. I want to make sure you get it. And again, ask questions. Hit us up at hello@trade90x.com. Send me your charts. Send me your setups. I've been doing this for over a year and a half, but again, I wanted to do a more detailed lesson, and we're doing it. So again, here's the Russell. The Russell has been in a sideways range for almost 2 years. Look at this. So we box the range. We squeeze up those equal highs, equal lows on the bottom and top. We don't want to trade the middle. And again, remember, this is a weekly chart. What are the trades? I don't care if you're in a 1 minute, 5 minute, weekly, or monthly. Bullish momentum, bearish momentum, weekly setups are the same. In a range, we're looking for the strong momentum, rejection, top third, bottom third, fake out, breakout. So here you go. You had a setup here, fake out, breakout. You had a rejection trade right there. Okay, so now step number 2, let's go down to the smaller time frames as active traders, and let's see. All right, so we got these decision points. Now we look at the tools. We see what's going on over the last few weeks. It was bearish, and then this week the bulls are trying to take it back. But today we can see, ask the questions. Are we above the previous day's range? Well, look at that. We had a fake out breakout candle. Now, remember I told you, whatever you have weekly, monthly, yearlies on top of the previous day's high low or right near them, like this, I'm going to turn them into a zone. So you can see clearly the bulls tried, got rejected. And this is what we call a multi-trend day. We went from an inside day, outside, back to inside, and now we're bearish momentum. Let's go to the 2 minute or 3 minute, it doesn't matter. Let's put in our 8:30 vertical line for the news today. There we go. And you can see, like all the other indices, we had that big candle. We broke below. Not a great setup, though, on the Russell, unfortunately. We didn't get that break and retest till right about here. I would have loved it if we got it up here. Not as clean, had the inverse head and shoulders, and then basically went sideways and kind of drifted up. So Russell really didn't have great trades. Again, remember, here's 9:30. Yeah, nothing great in the Russell. Okay, let's go look at some other asset classes. Let's go. We trade oil. Again, I don't care what asset class, I don't care what it is. It's the same steps. Go to the weekly. Okay, what do we see in oil? We see bullishness, we see bearishness, we see kind of rangy. So here we have kind of the bottom. I see the top. There we go. So we're basically in a range, momentum, rejection, bullish. So over the last, again, from the start of the year, the bulls have taken it. And again, we're in a range. Remember, I don't care if you're in a 1 minute, 5 minute, 60 minute. Again, until price, it's either bullish momentum, bearish momentum, range, or no edge. Right now we're in a range. So what do we do with ranges? We look for top third, bottom third, fake out breakouts until price can prove back to bullish or bearish momentum. Okay. If you're not clear about it, hit me up at hello@trade90x.com and we'll go over it. Okay. So now I go down to anywhere from a 15 minute to 60. I squeeze the chart up and I can see the decision points. Okay. And they're matching up again with yearlies and monthlies. And we could see that lower left to upper right, and then we were moving upper left to lower right over the last few weeks. And now we're kind of sideways. But again, what are the tools? Zoom in into the tools. Okay, and we can see we had a fake out breakout and we're in a range. Okay, we're in a range. and I can see the weekly on top of the previous day's range high. I can see the monthly down here. So let's go down to, there we go. Now oil opens up at 9 a.m. Okay, 9 a.m. So coming in, we basically had sideways price action. The bears tried. And again, remember, if we're going to get bearish momentum below or above the previous day's range, it needs to look like this. That's not what it looked like. This is what I call a fake out breakout. We kind of had this rounded, you see, look at this. And then there was your setup. Beautiful setup. There was your setup. Beautiful. I mean, right there, look at that. Look at that engulfing candle right there at the break and retest. Look at that. You wait for the break above. We've got some candles here and the level. And this trade, first target was 2-to-1 or the middle or the weekly and previous day's range high right there. And you got 3.42. And remember, all you need is one good trade per day. This is why I said I love this earn the right to trade late process, because number one, we know your numbers. Number two, you got a set of tools that are predictive, not lagging. They quickly tell you whether or not we're bullish, bearish, or range, or no edge price action. Okay, you know now the bullish and bearish momentum setups. You know the range setups, top third, bottom third, fake out breakouts. Let's focus not on the middle. And then if we have no edge price action, we box it and do nothing. Okay, so this was oil. So oil gave you a beautiful long trade after going kind of as a multi-trend day. We started inside. It looked like the bears had it, fake out, breakout, and then we came back in. This is a multi-trend day, break and retest. Beautiful. Doesn't get any better than that. All right, let's go look at gold and euro. I'll just do a few more. I'll do the euro and then gold. Okay, and weekly again. Go to that weekly, what's going on, and you can see we had bearish momentum. The bulls have been trying, and we've got literally a sideways range here. We got a sideways range, and it's pretty tight actually. So not much room here. So the euro is definitely in a tight right at the bottom third of the range. All right, let's go see if there's anything happening in the short term for us to have a trade. All right, so we look at the tools we see over the last few weeks. So look, you can see we had bearish, we were basing, and then broke out. Okay, use the tools. What is it telling us? Today we started off, we had a fake out breakout, and look what happened. Multi-trend day, but then the bulls rejected. Let's go to the 3-minute. Now, this is a currency. Currencies open at 8:20, but since we had news at 8:30, right there, look at that beauty right there. That's a beautiful trade. So you had the big news. We don't trade news. The momentum, you had momentum, and then inverse head and shoulders right here. Left head, right shoulder. And then you had the break and retest right here. So this would have been the super aggressive trade right here. And the reason why I like it is because you're at the bottom third. You had this right here. Oops. So this would have been this super aggressive trade right here, but I like that trade. The break above the band right there. Yeah, I like it. And it was 2-to-1 back up. Beautiful. Or the break of this. And this, look at that beautiful trade. We went from, look at that, we went from bullishness back into the range, rejection, from a range back to bullish momentum. And then this was a nice setup, break and retest if you were trading. Beautiful. Okay, again, everything takes repetition and discipline. This is what the Earn the Right to Trade Life process. You're going to come in, you're going to have the guidance, you're going to have everything for you. You're going to learn how to, you know your numbers, you know the setups, you have the tools, you know the steps. You're going to literally back test and replay until you literally can prove you've mastered the setups, and then over time, your trades have proven you have a statistical edge. Okay, and we want to get you from that phase to live as quickly as possible. All right, let's look at gold. Again, I don't care what symbol, it doesn't matter. The Earn the Right to Trade Live process works. It'll help you with your swing, your day, your scalps. It doesn't matter. Again, we are now, when squeeze the chart up, you can see that gold literally is broken out. Squeeze that up right there. It was in a range for almost 4 years, broke out. Let's put the right here and here. So now we're in another range. And here we have another decision point down here. So we're in a range from about 2,300. Let's just call it 2,450, whatever that is. Okay. Right about there. Yep. So we don't know ranges. Remember, these are levels right here. Bottom third, top third, nowhere near the middle, fake out breakouts until you can break above or below. And if we break out, we have uncharted territories. We break down below, we have a decision point down here at 2159. All right. So now let's go and see if we have shorter term trades. We have our decision points in. What are the tools telling us? The previous day's range is telling us we had very nice fake out breakouts. So let's go see what had happened. So remember, gold is also opens at 820, but since we had news, 830. All right. So again, overnight traders, when we came in, we were evaluating. Overnight traders had a beautiful long. Look at that. Fake. You can't. This is a beautiful fake out breakout. It looks like the sellers, buyers say, and we go the other way. Target back to the middle or top. That overnight traders got paid. Then you had news, big volatility, and this is what I love. You get those big rejections at the top third, bottom third, and you got that big engulfing, or then you got the doji into engulfing right here. So any one of these, I'm okay. You could have taken it here. As soon as it broke, stop above, target 1 and 2 gave you 3 to 1. Or you could have taken it right here. Either one. All right. And then you went from side to side, beautiful trade. And then also you got another, I mean, if again, I always say, if you get the good trade going off, no reason to chance it, but beautiful fake out breakouts. All right. So you had a fake out breakout on the overnight. You had a strong rejection. I mean, beautiful trades. I mean, this is what we look for. These strong momentum break and retest or rejections, that's how you get paid. Okay, so let me show, because a lot of people are asking for Bitcoin. I'll do 1 or 2 stocks and then we'll end this lesson. All right, so again, here we go. Earn the right to trade live. I don't care what asset class. Bitcoin, you see we were bullish. We had this kind of huge double top parabolic. We had this bearishness. You had the accumulation, and then we started making higher highs, higher lows. Now we are bullish, but we are in one hell of a range right here. Basically from 59 up to about 74-ish, let's just call it. So again, what do we do with ranges? Bottom third, top third. I don't want to be anywhere in the middle. Fake out breakouts until we break up. We break up, we have uncharted territories. Okay, uncharted territories. If we break down, we've got these areas here. These are areas where, again, price paused and left quickly down at 50 or 39. Now, okay, so I'm a long-term holder in Bitcoin. And again, on big dips, I recommend it. I'm looking at a 5-10 year horizon. But again, if you're a short-term trader, it's no different. Go to your 15 or 60 minute, you have your decision points in, squeeze the chart. What have we been doing over the last few weeks? It's been very sideways. You can see the sideways. And then using the tools, what's going on? Well, I see there's a weekly right near the previous day's range low and high. So we definitely have some zones here. we see we had a beautiful fake out breakout. Let's go and check it out. All right, so overnight, again, we're coming in at 8 o'clock. Again, there's news at 8:30, so I don't care what symbol we pause. And you can see we had no edge. We were inside the range, no edge, choppy, crap, price action, nothing to do. And really, nothing to do here. You had the big move down, you had the beautiful rejection, and there was your trade right there. You wait patiently, you got the fake out breakout. Look at that. Fake out breakout. Look at that. And then you got the break and retest. Beautiful trade right there. I mean, look at that structure. You got the engulfing, break and retest. As soon as price breaks, it activates. I want to be below those candles. And this trade right here is giving you 2 to 1. All right, let's do 1 or 2 stocks. I know Mara has been hot. That's a Bitcoin mining stock, and full disclosure, I do own it. All right, so again, I don't care what symbol you throw at me. Again, we look at the weekly, and you can see, look at these parabolic. Tell you, whenever you see this kind of stuff, these are parabolic, and they usually mean personality change. So let's go and put in, because right now we were starting to get bullish, and now we've kind of put in this other kind of parabolic kind of price action right here, to be honest with you, but let's see. All right, so we're basically in a range from about 14 to, let's just call it 28. All right, let's go to the 15 and see what's going on. We have our decision points in. We can see this week Mara's starting to show some life. And then look at the tools. Well, we've got the previous day's range on top of the, we got the weekly on top of the previous day's range. All right, so that's the previous day's high, low, midpoint, open. Here was the open. Let's go all the way down to the smaller time frame. All right, so here is the tools. So we started off with a gap down. Remember, so whenever you have a gap down or gap up, this is a bearish candle, basically. Gap up is a bullish candle, but look what happened here. Here is the open right here. This would have been a very nice trade right here. If again, but this is more seasoned for our seasoned traders, because this is going to be counter trend, because we started off bearish and then we came back and we hit the target and then we rejected, and then we went from a bearish day back into an inside day. So we got the bullish engulfing break and retest. So these were the 2 trades right there. This one I will call a B trade. Anything counter trend to me is a B trade. Anything then that gives us one of our, again, if it's bullish momentum, bearish momentum, bottom third, top third, fake out breakouts in the range, those are our A setups. All right, let's see what other symbol. Okay, 1 or 2 others. So this is this ultra semiconductor ETF, and I actually like this. I actually use this myself. So again, but it's no different. Look at what we have here. We have sort of this parabolic area here. Okay, and this is where price kind of paused and took off quickly. This is where price has paused before, these 2 areas right here, and now we're bouncing. Okay, but we're kind of we're in a range anywhere from, I guess, this 26 to 49 area. Let's go to the 15-minute. We have decision points in right here. We got tools right here. And we can see this week, the bulls have been moving lower left to upper right. And look at this right here. Are you surprised? Look at this. We've had multiple key levels right here, 3 of them. 3 key levels right here we bounced off of, okay? No surprise. We're making higher highs, higher lows, and then using the tools. Let's go down to this was today. Here is your previous day's range. We started off in the previous day's range at the opened, and we rejected. So look at that beauty right there. Either here or here were your trades. I don't like trading the middle myself personally. This was a nice trade, but I prefer to trade in a range, top third, bottom third, fake out breakouts until now. price is starting to prove, and we can see right now, price did this before, and it's kind of in a range. So we need to see a little bit more, but right here with the two really nice A trades. All right, we have Tesla. Let me see what else. Let me see what else. Tesla looks good. Let me see what NVIDIA. All right, let's go to NVIDIA. Same thing. I'll do both of those because they've been requested, and then we'll finish up this lesson. But guys, I hope you're getting value out of this lesson. Share it with other people, that need it. Make sure when it goes up on YouTube, you give it the thumbs up, give feedback so we can, do more, of these lessons for you. Again, and while we have it available, also, if you go to our Trade90X profile Instagram page in the profile area, you can book a 15-minute free call and go over anything you want about trading. So NVIDIA, we're moving lower left to upper right. Where are the areas that have paused most recently? Right, this area right here, okay? And of course, this area here, right here. All right, so now let's go to the 15-minute. We've got our decision points in at these bigger levels. Now we use the tools. We see that this week buyers have been trying to, get some momentum here. Let's go to the smaller time frame and step number 3. And again, what did NVIDIA offer you today? Look at that. Big fake out breakout, beautiful doji engulfing candle. Here was your setup. See, once you master the earn the right to trade live process, and you understand the rules of engagement, you understand the tools, you understand your numbers, you understand the setups, you understand the steps, you're going to come in every morning. You're going to come in relaxed. You're going to do your analysis. And that's the beauty of this. The tools allow you to determine, do we have bullish momentum setups, bearish momentum setups? If it's in a range, we play the range. I'm looking at the bottom third, top third rejections, fake out breakouts. This is a fake out breakout. It looks like the sellers got it, and then the buyers said, and then put in a break and retest, doji into engulfing. I mean, beautiful. It doesn't get any better than that. Let's just do Tesla, and then we're going to wrap up this lesson because I had some people asking me about these, so I want to make sure I get it in for everybody. All right, so let's get to it here. Again, I don't care what symbol. Again, what's going on the bigger time frame. Here, look at this. Upper left to lower right, bulls tried. Upper left to lower right. These are areas on the weekly where prices paused and left the station quickly. And then before that, I'm just going to put this area right here. All right, let's go to the 15-minute. We have the decision points in. And using the tools, we know these decision points are matching up. They're important, but we see, look at this. We hit a yearly and monthly level. This is a yearly and monthly level right here. No surprise why we rejected. And then we start gapping up, and now we're going higher. Let's go to a 2-minute, see if there was any trades today. And again, not as clean as the as NVIDIA, but you had that bullish engulfing right here. That showed we're in the bottom third. That shows super strength right there. And the only other opportunity was this one. But again, I don't like the middle. But again, here's the one thing about the middle I will tell you. If you're somebody that you've gone through your back testing, first, number one, here are the rules. The range has to be super wide. Number 2, you must have at least 2-to-1 space up and bottom. You must have back tested to prove that the middle works for you. And the only trades that I'm interested in the middle are these, exactly what this did. Strong momentum, break, retest. Or if it does this, those are the only time I'll consider middle trades. But again, if you haven't back tested it, we don't have space of 2-to-1 to the top or bottom. We don't get the setup that I just showed you. I'm not interested. All right. So this was beautiful. All right. So let's go back and let's recap what we did here. So in the earn the right to trade live process, again, every morning it's the same. I go through the data. I go through the news, I go through the earnings, I go through the fear and greed index to check sentiment. I go through the 50-day moving average to see the momentum, what's going on. It's been bearish. I want to see what's going on in the main trend of the sectors. And then the shorter term, we've definitely had more indecision. The commitment of trader report, we're still bullish in the long term, so that's good. And then in stockcharts.com, I'm going to go through the main trend, which we know was showing more bullishness. Bearishness, definitely more in the short term was bearish, but we're now starting to pop. Okay, and then we went through the chart. Again, I showed you the monthly, the weekly, the daily, how we use the momentum band line charts into candlesticks to look for those setups. And then, of course, the earn the right to trade live process. Again, I like to start right here with the 30-minute as our anchor chart. And again, we're using the tools. Remember, you know the numbers, you know the tools. You're using the previous day's range, high, low, midpoint, the open, previous day's close, weekly, monthly, yearly high, and the decision points that come from the weekly. And again, you know the setups, bullish momentum, bearish momentum, and then the range setups, top third, bottom third. And then you know when there's no edge price action sideways. And you understand that we have extensive replay and backtesting to prove you can build a statistical edge. Once you prove that statistical edge, then you can earn the right to trade live. And I want to get you there as quickly as possible. But if you don't understand, first of all, if you don't understand the charts, how to enter, the brokerage firm, what asset class, what are the rules of engagement? Okay, have a set of tools, have setups, have steps, know your numbers. How can you ever trade live? And if you haven't proven it, and you're going to just go trade live first without doing any of this, you know what's going to happen? You're going to end up, your psyche is going to be ruined because you're just going to blow up money. And you're going to be like, this sucks. No, what you need to do is go through it as quickly as possible. And again, the people that, will do whatever it takes, they're going to put in the time, and you can be up and around. That's why we call this the Trade90X, get trade fit in 90 days right here. It's because we can help anybody build the foundation in 90 days. But it's going to take more than 90 days to become a master trader, but in 90 days we'll get you on the right path, because we're going to cut the nonsense. We're going to focus in and earn. That's why I love the earn the right to trade live process. Okay, this gets right to the heart of it, and it gives you a step-by-step that you can look at any symbol. Okay, so if there's any questions about the earn the right to trade live strategy, okay, then hit us up at hello@trade90x.com. Also, I want your feedback. I want make sure you like, share these videos again, so we can do more. Also, if you want certain topics, hit us up. I'm happy to do topics that the common, we get a common theme. I'll start doing more. Absolutely. I'm definitely into it. Like right now. So at the end of the close of the day, just so you can see, we started off the overnight with a no edge, choppy price action at the bottom third. The bears took it, and then the bulls came back. And right now, we're above that overnight open. So if we close like right here, in the next, we have 45 minutes left, we're going to end up closing this day from what went from a bearish day to a bullish day. All right. So again, hope you got a lot of value out of this earn the right to trade live lesson. Hit us up at hello@trade90x.com, and I look forward to getting your feedback and helping you become a profitable trader.